What would you do if the person who was supposed to welcome you into their family offered you a check to disappear? That was the question swirling in my mind as I stood in the opulent foyer of Mrs. Eleanor Whitmore's Manhattan penthouse, clutching a steaming cup of chamomile, tea she'd insisted I drink. The air was thick with the scent of her rosewood furniture and the weight of her expectations. I was there to meet my fiancé David's mother for the first time, expecting warmth, maybe a few probing questions about my intentions. Instead, I was about to face a proposition that would change everything. I'm Lila Carter, a 29-year-old tech entrepreneur who'd clawed her way from a cramped studio apartment in Queens to a corner office in Silicon Alley. David, my fiancé, was the golden boy of the Whitmore family, a lineage dripping in old money and older prejudices. We'd met at a charity gala, his easy charm disarming my usual defenses. 6 months later, he proposed under a canopy of stars at his family's Hamptons estate, and I said yes, believing love could bridge any gap. But as I stood in that penthouse, I realized the gap was a chasm, and Eleanor Whitmore was determined to keep it that way. Eleanor was a vision of calculated, elegant silver hair, swept into a chignon, a Chanel suit that screamed wealth without shouting. Her smile was polite but cold, like a blade wrapped in silk. After the pleasantries, she led me to a mahogany-paneled study, where she closed the door with a soft click that felt like a vault ceiling shut. "Lila," she began, her voice smooth as aged whiskey. "You seem like a smart girl. Let's be honest. You and David come from different worlds." She slid a check across the desk, the zeros trailing like a taunt. $50,000. "Take this," she said, "and walk away. It's better for everyone." My heart pounded, not with fear, but with a strange mix of outrage and amusement. Did she think I was some gold digger who could be bought off? I leaned back in the leather chair, crossing my arms. "Eleanor, you don't know me at all, do you?" Her eyes narrowed, but before she could respond, I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and slid it across the desk. The screen glowed with a number: $12,347,892. Her jaw tightened, just for a moment, before she regained her composure. "Impressive," she said, but her voice wavered. I smiled. "Keep your check. I'm not going anywhere." That night, I lay awake beside David, his steady breathing a contrast to the storm in my mind. Eleanor's offer wasn't just about money, it was about control, about keeping her perfect world untouched by someone like me. I'd built my company, Nexus AI, from a single laptop in a coffee shop, turning it into a tech unicorn that powered half the city's startups. I wasn't here for David's money. I was here for him. But Eleanor's move made one thing clear. This wasn't just a personal slight. It was a declaration of war. The next morning, I decided to dig deeper. If Eleanor thought she could intimidate me, she was about to learn who she was dealing with. I called my assistant, Priya, a hacker-turned-executive who could unearth secrets faster than a tabloid. "Find out everything about Eleanor Whitmore," I said. "Business dealings, social ties, skeletons in the closet." Priya's voice crackled with excitement. "On it, boss." By noon, she'd sent me a file that made my pulse race. Eleanor wasn't just a socialite, she was the silent partner in a failing real estate empire, leveraged to the hilt. The Whitmore fortune was a house of cards, and David didn't know. That's when the twist came, unexpected and sharp. Priya uncovered a name tied to Eleanor's accounts. Marcus Reed, a private investigator who'd been tailing me for weeks. Photos of me at meetings, coffee runs, even my gym. Eleanor hadn't just offered a bribe, she'd been building a case to discredit me, to paint me as unfit for her son. But Marcus wasn't just any PI. He was Priya's estranged brother, a man who disappeared from her life after a falling out over their parents' estate. Priya's voice shook as she told me, He's good, Lila. Too good. If he's working for Eleanor, she's got something big planned. I met Marcus at a dive bar in Brooklyn, far from Eleanor's gilded world. He was lean, with eyes that saw too much, nursing a whiskey like it was an old friend. "Why are you helping her?" I asked, cutting to the chase. He smirked, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Money talks, Miss Carter. But you already know that." I leaned in, my voice low. "What if I told you I could offer you something better than money?" His brow arched, intrigued. I slid him a USB drive. "Your sister misses you. There's a letter from her on there. Read it, then decide whose side you're on." Marcus didn't say much, but I saw the crack in his armor. 2 days later, he called. "Eleanor's planning to leak a story about you," he said. "Claims you manipulated David for his trust fund. She's got fabricated emails, texts, the works." My stomach churned, but I kept my voice steady. "Can you stop it?" A pause. "Already did. I sent her fakes back to her server. She thinks she's got you, but it's smoke." I exhaled, gratitude mixing with relief. Marcus wasn't just a hired gun, was a man haunted by his own choices, and I'd given him a chance to make one right. The final showdown came at the Whitmore family gala, a glittering affair at their estate. Eleanor was in her element, charming guests while casting me sidelong glances. David, oblivious to the undercurrents, squeezed my hand. "You okay?" he whispered. I nodded, but my eyes were on Eleanor. As the night wore on, she cornered me near the grand staircase, her smile venomous. "Last chance, Lila. Walk away, or I'll ruin you." I stepped closer, my voice a whisper. "Check your email, Eleanor." Her face paled as she opened her phone. There, courtesy of Marcus, was a dossier of her own financial missteps, failed deals, hidden debts, and a looming bankruptcy. "You're not the only one who plays dirty," I said. "But I'm not here to destroy you. I'm here to marry your son. Accept it, or I send this to every board member in your empire." Eleanor didn't speak, but the fight drained from her eyes. She nodded once, a silent surrender. The next day, she called David and me to her penthouse. No checks, no threats, just an apology, brittle but genuine. "I underestimated you, Lila," she said. "Maybe that's a good thing. It wasn't love, but it was a start." As David and I walked hand in hand through Central Park, the weight of the past weeks lifted. I'd fought for my place, not with money but with truth, and I'd won something more than a ring of family, flawed but mine. Marcus and Priya were rebuilding their bond, a quiet victory that warmed me as much as David's smile. Money could buy a lot, but it couldn't buy trust or love or the courage to stand your ground. And that, I realized, was my real fortune.